Ain't no man want no stank puss, and ain't no woman want no little shrimp peen. Let's be real in God's house.
Well, hello. Much love to you all. May God bless you all. Hit that like button. As you've seen in that last video, I was telling everybody in Bible study last night on the Pastor Hank podcast channel. You can find it on the front of my YouTube channel if you want to go subscribe to that. That's where we're doing Wednesday night Bible studies and a couple other premieres like a history lesson and lost wisdom. But this is the word I told people that I felt in the spirit was state of decay. And I didn't know if it was going to be like preaching or whatnot, but then I wake up and I see all these things. And I've been seeing countless things like this for, years. We've been seeing that it just gets worse. And yeah, when the wolves preach and the sheep applaud, uh, it's the apostasy we're seeing. And I really believe that the Western civilization church has turned into a state of decay. You get these evangelical Lutheran churches across the country that are probably out of most of the churches are being really bad, probably the worst with the things they've been coming up with lately. There's been countless videos of different denominations doing certain things. But, that's why I stick away from denomination and I stick to Jesus Christ. And the fact of the matter is, I've called this for years, as 2 Corinthians 11:4 says, if they come and preach another Jesus, we call this a Build-A-Bear Jesus. They're building up Jesus to something he's not, and that's what's happening behind the pulpit. You get this guy like Reverend Nick, who preached on Luke 10, where Jesus gently corrects Martha for being worried and upset about many things. But this Nick guy suggests that Jesus was wrong to elevate Mary's choice to sit and learn. So you get a pastor who's claiming to say, why would Christ have the audacity? One, this isn't a pastor. This is the problem. Remember, I told you in 2020, I withdrawed out of theology college. I had straight A's, had like some of the highest grades out of people there. I was also looked upon like, what is this tattooed guy doing up here? Surely he doesn't know Jesus. I was treated really wrong, you could say. Not by everybody. There was some people that really liked me, but this is the problem. What I seen in there is a lot of people weren't called to be pastors. They just thought it would be neat to have a position of power. And a lot of their views, that's a problem with the Western civilization colleges. You'll have Catholics, Protestants, Lutherans. You'll have non-denominational and denominational people in there. You'll have Armenians and Calvinists, and there's debates nonstop and skipping certain subjects. So, who are we to tell God he's wrong, right? This anti-gospel movement that's going where people even go and yell at ones that street preach, like this ministry does, when it tells us to go and make disciples of all nations, when it tells us to go into the highways and the hedges. But it's exactly how 2 Timothy 4 tells us that we would be in these perilous times. People would not heed to sound doctrine. They would, find teachers that would suit their own desires. A lot of people are going to prepping channels and listening to some guy cuss nonstop and saying, keep preaching, keep preaching. This isn't preaching what they're doing. They're only talking to you about politics and conspiracies and opinions. When the Bible being preached is not an opinion, it actually goes against your opinion. It goes against your feelings. It goes against what you think is right. The book of Proverbs says a man, will, paraphrase, and basically a man is going to do what's right in their own eyes, but really it's the way to death because they're thinking they're doing. We need a path back to the truth because you get people like this who go and spend church funds to become RoboCop and wants to preach about military, basically bringing the military and ICE in and federal immigration enforcements and not even preaching about Jesus Christ. And as it says, this is not a satire. This is actually a real man that was standing up in there and given a word that had nothing to do. He claims the Bible is not God breathed. Plus, you can already tell he's pro-LGBTQ. This isn't the promise of not flooding the earth again, as it says in the book of Genesis. When churches go flying this up and allow all this LGBTQ stuff, they're given promises of syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, and AIDS. That's what they're given. And the church is getting too soft on this stuff. He had one sermon where he portrayed Jesus as a xenophobic, right? What's up with all these people putting a claim to Jesus? Like a tax return. You can't claim Jesus if you don't know Jesus. This guy ain't a pastor. The one that did this ain't a pastor. They're nothing but spiritual pimps, pimping you out, trying to kill you spiritually. How many countless fireballs have fallen out of the sky to prove not just the apostasy and state of decay of the church, to prove where we're at? For the past 5 years, I've been showing fireballs. Just one a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, flew over places in United States, caused the ground to rumble. These things continue to happen, but people say, "Oh, well, that's just." Some people think it's a simulation in the sky. It's not real. It's not real. Why would Jesus say in Luke 21 you would see signs in the sky? Hypocrites who act like they know Jesus, don't even read the Bible. And bad enough we get people that read it, but then they go and say, well, this part's wrong, right? Well, guys, going to be street preaching tomorrow, Lord willing. Saturday, got a big message at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. If you're an effeminate person, soft hands, can't take rough words, can't take truth, can't handle the truth, I wouldn't suggest you to come listen to it because you might end up crying and pulling your hair out. But if you want sound doctrine and biblical truth, just pray and the Lord will send you somewhere where someone does give you biblical truth, because there still is men and women of God that stand for righteousness and truth. May God bless you all.